My name is Simon Rattle, and this seems to be my CBSO story, or some of it. The CBSO used to tour in around the regions quite a lot, so I must have been 13 or 14 when I first heard them play with Louis Fremont. I mean, to my horror, I can't remember what the program was at all. No, that's not true. They played The Rite of Spring. And what was really clear was that this was a different type of orchestra from the orchestras in the north, that it was already a very fine type of animal. I mean, this kind of cliche about it being one of the great French orchestras was true even then. Well, in fact, I was asked by a really astonishing lady called Lena Lalande, who ran the Oxford Bach Festival, to conduct an all-Beethoven concert with the orchestra on one rehearsal in Oxford. And now the fact that we got through that and the orchestra was still speaking to me by the end of it is little short of a miracle. But actually, it was a big pleasure. But I didn't think any more about this until my old friend Ed Smith, with whom I'd run the Merseyside Youth Orchestra in Liverpool, became manager of the orchestra. And I can remember being the cheekiest I'd ever been in a kind of career terms, and saying, look, Ed, if you would ever want to work together again with me, I would jump at that chance, not thinking anything of it. But the next time I went there, I must have been 21 or 22, conducting Shostakovich 10th, Prokofiev First Piano Concerto, Rachmaninoff House of the Dead in Cheltenham. And one of the percussionists, Annie Oakley, who'd been with me in the Merseyside Youth Orchestra, said, you know, kid, you ought to really think about coming here to be boss. And I really thought she was joking. But that remark stayed with me. And in fact, I only conducted the orchestra once more in one program, which was like, I suppose, the audition, Brahms' First Piano Concerto and Nielsen 4. And then that was it. But, I mean, I realized very quickly that this was an orchestra that wanted to go places. And in the meantime, they'd lost not only their general manager, but their conductor. And it was actually in a state of quite turmoil. But the orchestra had decided, okay, we will really take charge of this. And so what I came to was this orchestra that desperately wanted to say, well, what do we do? What is our norm? I mean, where do we play this on the string? How do we tune chords? What kind of style do we want this to be in? And this was wonderful for me because, you know, I knew a certain amount, but at 25, you're more than green behind the gills. And we were able to learn some of the things together. And some of the things that I said were useful and others were complete rubbish. But somehow people put up with it because we all knew we were in it together. And I mean, it's really interesting at this point where I reckon there's 25 people who are now here when I was in the position only. But it was an incredible adventure, I have to say. And I'm so proud of seeing what the orchestra has become. And it's had a really inspiring track record of appointing conductors, Zachary, Andrus and Mierga. And with each one, I've seen the orchestra get better and better. And you know, I thought it was damn good by the end of my time, but it's another level altogether now, and that is completely thrilling.